everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I am bringing you something a little different. In April, I participated in the Loheli 30 for 30 manga challenge, where we were reading one volume of manga a day. And then in May, I've kind of been keeping up that reading a manga a day pace. As such, I have gone through a few different series, or I should say, I've completed a few different series. And I thought that instead of going through them in a wrap-up, I would break it down for you guys in separate review type videos. The title on this video actually just says like series thoughts, and really it is my thoughts on the series, not really in-depth. It's not really going to be an in-depth type of review. This is going to be spoiler free, so I'm just going to kind of give you a short synopsis on the series, what I thought about it, and things like that. So anyway, the first series that I want to introduce you to or talk about is The Gentleman's Alliance Cross. This was written, story and art by Arina Tanemura. This was published by Viz and is a shoujo manga. And it is rated T+ for older teen. This story follows Heine, who is our character shown on the very first volume. When she was younger, her father sold her to another family in return for money in order to save his company. At the time, Heine was just old enough to know what was going on, and she lashes out by becoming a gangster. Because of this, she doesn't have the best reputation. And one night, when she's at a pretty low point in her life, she has a fateful encounter with Shizumasa, who is shown on this cover. After that fateful encounter, she kind of falls in love with him, and she wants to turn her life around. So she decides to stop being a gangster and work really hard so that she can get into the prestigious school that Shizumasa will be attending. She ends up succeeding, but her reputation as a gangster still follows her. Besides that, she doesn't have very many friends because of her not so great reputation. She does have one though, and that is Ushio. She met Ushio in her gangster years, kind of by chance, while she was running away from people who were trying to beat her up. But Ushio also goes to this school and is kind of a comfort and someone that she can confide in at the school, who kind of knows the real her and not just that she was a gangster and that's all there is to it. So at this school, it definitely matters what your social standing is, and that's based on basically how affluent your family is. Even though this school is only for affluent families, there is a difference between how affluent Heine's family is to Ushio's family, and how affluent Ushio's family is to Shizumasa's family. And so Heine is basically at the bottom of the social standings at this school. And as such, it's really hard to kind of even get to approach Shizumasa. But an opportunity arises one day, and because of it, Shizumasa decides that Heine is now going to be his quote-unquote bodyguard because of her reputation as a gangster. But they're not outwardly telling everybody that that's going to be the case. Instead, they set up this fake dating kind of scenario. Heine starts to realize very quickly, though, that Shizumasa is very different from the night that she had encountered him in the past. she definitely wonders what has happened to him, especially because Shizumasa seems to have some degree of animosity towards her. So throughout this story, we follow Haine not only trying to figure out what made Shizumasa change so much, but also her journey into making friends with some of the other people that are around Shizumasa a lot. We follow her trying to understand why her father sold her. I mean, obviously she knows it was for money, but there has to be something else or another reason. Did he hate her? She doesn't quite understand him, and they have a not so great relationship. And also the lengths she would go to for a friend, and how steadfast she is as a person. So all of these covers showcase characters that are part of this story. And one of the things that I really enjoy is Arina Tanemura's art style. It is just gorgeous. I have read another series by Arina Tanemura called Phantom Thief Jean, and I didn't enjoy it as much as this one. That one is about a reincarnation of Joan of Arc, and she exorcises demons from these like paintings. But this was my very first introduction to Arina Tanemura's art style and her storytelling. And this was a reread for me this time that I had read it in April. I really enjoyed it as much as I remember enjoying it the first time I read it. And though I didn't remember a lot of what had happened in the story, the things that I did remember were still very vivid in my memory. This story was just as entertaining, if not more so, than I remember it being the first time I read it. And I really hope more people will check this title out. It's not one that I hear a lot of people talk about, and probably because it's an older series. This one was published, I think, between 2007 and 2010. So we're coming up on 10 years of the final volume being published. It is still available in print and digitally. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I don't usually read contemporary type stories. Like, the things that I read usually have some type of mysterious element or magic or paranormal elements. This, while I would say there's a small mysterious element to it because of how Haine is trying to figure out what happened to Shizumasa and why her father sold her off like without a care in the world type of thing. This really is a contemporary high school story. I mean, there's a little bit of romance, but it's a lot about the friendships. Friendships not only between Haine and these other people that I've shown you on these covers, but between the other people on the covers. This series also has a lot of author's notes. At the beginning of each chapter, there's a few paragraphs. And though if you decide to pick up this series, I wouldn't advise reading those author notes until you're done reading the volume, because a lot of the author notes are spoilery, and she does a really good job of telling you spoilers ahead. You know, don't read this until you're done reading. But it just adds another level of enjoyment to this story. At least for me, it did. Heine definitely isn't a perfect character. You can definitely see her eccentricities, and she is a bit naive even up to the last volume. But I think that's what makes her a character that I want to root for. There was something at the end that, though the story I feel is wrapped up well, there's just one little bit of story that I wish they would have covered a bit more thoroughly. But saying that, I still think this is a really enjoyable series, and it's definitely one that I can foresee rereading again and again in the future. As I mentioned, I am a really big fan of Arina Tanemura's art style, and I do have a few volumes from some of her other series. Those series are Idle Dreams, which is the series that is most recent. It's about a 30-something-year-old woman who kind of gets a redo of her teenage years because she takes an experimental drug that takes her back to her 15-year-old appearance. I have this one, Sakura Hime, and I believe this one is about a demon slayer princess and a myth about why she is unable to look up at the moon. And I have this series. I have the entirety of Full Moon, which I believe deals with cancer a little bit. So kind of a sad topic, and I'm not quite ready to get into that one. But if you've read any of these other titles by Arina Tanemura, please let me know which one you think I should get into first. As I mentioned, I only have a few volumes of Idle Dreams and Sakura Hime, but I do have the entirety of Full Moon, and I have not read any of them. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of this mangaka, and I do hope that more people have the opportunity to check out The Gentleman's Alliance Cross. If you have read The Gentleman's Alliance Cross, please let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. And that's all I have for you today. I hope you're all doing great. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye!